Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us again for our second virtual field trip. We're very excited to have y'all here. I'm Mary Wilson with the Alabama Farmers Federation, and today our topic is going to be about growing all kinds of different fruits and vegetables on a large scale. But before we get to our special guests, I do have just a couple of things that I wanted to tell you guys about, and woo, this is fun to do to be producing as well as being the person who talks. So um, first, I wanted to show y'all some of the pictures that we have from people who did activities last go round, because we add a lot of activities related to the commodity that we're discussing into the comment section on this post. So you can find all kinds of fun activities for fruits and vegetables already in the comment section, but do those once we're finished with the virtual field trip. And last week we had Sam from Auburn. He enjoyed coloring the peanut page that we linked to. So he's got that beautiful big smile there. So thanks to Sam from Auburn for sending in that picture. And then we also have Elliot and Brennan from Wetumpka showing off their artistic skills with their pictures that they colored in for our peanuts and other row crops is what we featured last week. So if you want to be featured just like these guys were, it's really easy. Just do some of the activities that we linked to in the comments section, and then take photos, upload them to social media, tag us in those photos or videos. If you're on Facebook, it's at Alabama Farmers. And if you're uploading it to Instagram, it's at Alpha Farmers. And then we'll pick a few of those for next time. But we appreciate having sisters there. And we actually have sisters today that are going to be talking to us. They have been farming for a long time. I actually have it on good authority that this picture here is them after a very long day on the farm. So without further ado, we're going to get to Allie Logan and Cassie Young. I actually said you guys backwards. Cassie is on the left, Allie is on the right. And y'all say hey to Allie and Cassie. And we'll start with you guys just telling us a little bit more about your farm and backyard orchards.
Fruit and vegetable farm. We're located right on Highway 431. So if you're headed from Columbus down to Eufaula, or if you're coming from Atlanta going to Panama City, you've probably passed us. We grow strawberries, peaches, blueberries, watermelons, pumpkins, and all different kinds of vegetables, but our main focus is on the fruits. We also have a little store, a commercial kitchen where we make homemade ice cream and fried pies and homemade fudge. We do field trips, weddings, all different kind of events.
All right, that's wonderful. So tell us about a little bit more about how long you've been farming and the farm that you grew up on.
So Backyard Orchards, we started in 2009. So this is like our 10th year really. We were planning to have a big 10th year celebration, but of course all that kind of stuff's on hold right now. But as far as farming, we are fourth generation farmers. Our family has a row crop farm just here in Eufaula and kind of surrounding us, and the property that we actually have our farm on is located just north of our home place. So we're not too far from where we live, and it's nice to be able to come to work and not be too far from home.
All right, great. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in that opening section there is if you have any questions for Cassie or Allie about the fruits and vegetables that they grow, just add those into the comment section and we can pop those up, just like the hi that we've gotten from Carla Robertson Williamson, who's with our L&M cattle company in Chambers County. So just make sure to put your comments in there. All right, so tell us about what is in season right now on your farm, because think so many of us, we go to the grocery store, and no matter what time of year it is, there's always strawberries, there's always oranges, you know, there's just always fresh produce there. So we kind of forget about the seasonality of it. So we'd love to know what's in season out there.
So right now is the beginning of strawberry season. Normally we would be open. We would have opened about a month ago trying to catch spring break traffic. But right now it's just strawberries. And then in about a month, we should start having some blueberries and some peaches maybe. And then our vegetables, we have some potatoes and some onions and some broccoli and some cucumbers. But all that's a good month away still. Yeah, right now would be kind of like the height of strawberry field trip season.
So tell us about those strawberries. You know, they're in season right now, but it takes a long time to actually get those into the ground and get them to where they look great. So when do you actually plant strawberries?
So we try to plant them late October, 1st November. That is just so they can go overwintering through the winter, and then we start fertilizing and everything probably in February to really give them a push as the warmer weather starts coming in. One thing that we have to do with strawberries when it gets really cold, you know, they start blooming, is have row crop cover. So that's like if you ever ride past a field and you see this white sheet across the field, that is to protect the strawberries or whatever vegetables you might have planted on plastic throughout the winter from the frost. So that's one thing that's a little labor intensive, but those little blooms are really sensitive to the frost. So if they get hit, you know, they'll burn the strawberry. You don't have a good berry at the end. So, but we plant our strawberries on plastic. A lot of people are like, why do you do that? Well, that's to help with weed control. And underneath that plastic is also a drip line for irrigation. So we irrigate the strawberries through there and also fertilize our strawberries through there. But we have a couple of different varieties. We plant Camarosa and Chandler is probably the most popular. The Chandler is definitely very, very sweet. Of course, all of them are sweet if you let them ripen up enough. One thing a lot of people, when they come to U-Pick, forget or they don't know is that unlike other fruits and vegetables, they won't ripen. So if you pick them that little orangey color, and usually you can see them in the grocery store, they're just not quite red. They won't ripen if you pick them at that orange color. So you want to pick the berry at the reddest of the red.
All right. And when it comes to strawberries too, you know, I think the prettiest ones are like those perfect little kind of triangular strawberries. But then they kind of come in all shapes and sizes. You sent me a picture of one that's kind of a gargantuan one. What is it that causes that to happen?
It's mostly the variety, so it's the different types that, you know, with corn or sorry, the wind is just going crazy outside. The different variety of strawberries is a different shape, also different flavors. So there you just have a different variety of strawberry. Maybe something you might see an odd shape. Maybe if the flower didn't get pollinated correctly. I know that happens with squash a lot, or cucumbers. If it's weird looking, it's usually because it didn't get pollinated. But the shape of this strawberry has nothing to do. We didn't inject it with anything. It's just how it grows naturally, and also with the fertilization that we do. So we give them calcium and nitrogen. It really helps them grow and gets them nice, juicy, and sweet. And one thing too with strawberries, right after a rain, they might not be as sweet because they're absorbing that water. So, you know, right after a rain, you might get a batch that's not so good, but then you have a dry week and you pick again, and those berries are so much sweeter just because they've been able to have their own flavor and not extra water.
Interesting. I did not know that about strawberries. See, it's not just kids that are learning things. We're all learning things as we sit here watching and listening to you guys. So we do actually already have a question in from Isla is asking, how much plastic do you have to put in each strawberry row?
That depends on the length of the bed. We usually have they're another 3 feet wide, and so as you're going over the row, you have a bedder that kicks up dirt and covers up some of that plastic to keep it laying down. but it's hundreds of feet of plastic.
It covers 3 acres.
Yeah, so it's 3 acres worth.
All right, good to know. And then is that something that you can reuse from year to year?
Not typically. Some people might try to get another kind of short crop in on it, but we pull it up every year. And it's just not, so when the weeds sometimes get popped up in it and it gets broken, people stand on it. So it's just not feasible for us to reuse it every year.
All right, so we've discussed the strawberries, and obviously you guys have some really pretty ones sitting there beside you there at the farm store. But what else is going to come into season for you guys here in the next little bit?
So probably blueberries are going to be next. They're already really pretty big. And let's see, at the end of May, we usually have strawberries, peaches, and blueberries all kind of like 2 weeks there together. But it looks like blueberries are going to kind of come first, and then comes the peaches. I'm really hoping that this COVID restrictions are kind of lifted by then, because things are going to get really crazy. That's a lot of picking that we're going to have to do by ourselves.
All right, since you mentioned that, tell me about kind of the harvesting process for the different fruits and vegetables that you have, because there are a number of crops that you can mechanically harvest. Can you do that with any of the fruits and vegetables that you guys grow?
Well, yes and no. We don't do anything by machine, though. Everything is hand-picked here. But there is a blueberry harvester, but it kind of goes through, shakes the bushes, and what you get is what you get. You don't really get another picking. So we do everything by hand. That way we're picking the ripe ones first, letting the green ones ripen up, and we'll go back and pick those. Peaches, yeah, it's all by hand.
All right. So because you've mentioned peaches too, tell me what your peach trees look like right now and what you're expecting for the peach tree season, or for the peach season, not peach. Yeah.
All right, now they look pretty good. We've got what I'd like to just call it little baby peaches. So they're getting there. They'll like the warm weather, and they'll, especially the rain too, they'll get bigger and juicier, and hopefully it looks like it's going to be a pretty good season. I hate to jinx myself, but we didn't have a cold snap to hurt any of the blooms or the small peaches. So if it keeps going like this, we'll have more peaches than we know what to do with, really, which is a good problem.
Absolutely, it is. Okay, let's see. Tell me about how you sell the fruits and vegetables that you guys have on your farm.
Well, normally it's you pick. So people can come and you pick everything, strawberries, peaches, and blueberries. And if people want to pick their vegetables, I sometimes let them. I've had people want to dig their own potatoes. So it's all just about the learning experience. But mostly the stuff that's in here has been pre-picked. And then we sell each one by the container, not necessarily by weight. And we also go to a few farmers markets. Right now, the difficult problem is trying to sell it without having the store open. So we have no U-Pick at this time. Everything is pre-picked. I'm selling them on Facebook. People call or text me, and then it's all pre-ordered. We have a table set outside where people can come and pay PayPal. And we don't have too much interaction with one another. I'm just trying to limit the amount of people in the field to try to keep it as controlled as possible. But normally, this place is packed. Families are out there in the field, enjoying one another, getting to taste it right out of the field where it's nice and warm. Because that's when it's really the best, is when that sugar content's really high after it's been in the sun all day. So that's the disappointment, but we're making it.
Yes, and it's something to look forward to when the social distancing restrictions are lifted, that we can get back out to the farms and do some U-Pick, and hopefully for those things that are coming back into season. So we've gotten a good bit more questions in. Also, Luke Morton, I don't know if you guys know that name, but he said to say thanks for helping me with my ag class assignments. So you've got fans watching, people that you've helped previously. And we have a question from Elliot. She's wondering if what kind of bugs eat the strawberries. So if there's do you have any bug issues, and how do you handle that with strawberries?
So strawberries are susceptible to anything, just like other fruit and vegetables. So your stink bugs, There's some flies that love them. If I could pronunciate it right, I would say there's this new fly out there that actually lays the larva in the raw strawberry or the blueberry, and the larvae pop out, which is disgusting. With a little bug in it, little maggot. So there are just all sorts of different bugs that we have to spray for. And the other thing is like rodents out there, deer, mice, rabbits, birds, love to peck at them. So we have to make sure that we discard anything that we see has been bitten off from the crowd. So we do spray our strawberries, and we look at it, read our labels, and follow the labels on the insecticides. And we want to use a insecticide that has a post-harvest interval. So that means I can pick it immediately, within 24 hours. We don't look at something that says, well, you can only pick it after 2 weeks, because that would just ruin our crop. So we read our labels real carefully and just follow those directions.
You mentioned the birds sometimes in the strawberries, and even before you mentioned birds, we had a question come in that's from Kim Isbell, and she's wondering, how do you keep birds from eating strawberries? Is there any way that you can do that?
I'd say at home, if you have them in a raised bed, you could probably put somehow.
Problem though, it's funny. This is the first year I've really ever noticed any bird damage. I think it's.
You guys are good. It went black. It went black for just a second. Hey, this is life on a farm, because sometimes you're farther out from internet. So yeah, but we see you guys. So
I don't know. Can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Uh-oh. Okay, well you're good. Even though you can't hear us. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Allie, if you'll pick up your phone real quick, I'll text you. And we'll try to reestablish our connection with Allie. And
Technology.
Can you see me? Can you see me at all? Okay. So while we're waiting for Allie and Cassie to get back with us so that they can hear me, because it's important for them to be able to hear, because even though the stuff pops up on the screen, they can't read. That text is pretty small because they're on their phones. So we're going to get reconnected here. Let's see. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Ah, perfect. See, technology, this is when you live in a rural area, some internet does not work perfectly. And I know a lot of you guys that are watching this, you understand that because of all of the classwork that you're doing online, and for parents, even the work that you're trying to do online. Sometimes there's just hiccups. So, but we're back. So, Allie, I don't think we got through the last question. It went black on us a little bit. We were wondering, how do you keep birds from eating the strawberries? So I'll let you take that back over.
Yeah, so in a 3-acre field, there's no real good way to do it. You just have to discard those strawberries you've seen have been touched. But like at home, maybe in your garden, you can put up some kind of netting you get from Tractor Supply or your local farm store. With posts and that kind of thing. I've known people to do that. So look for some kind of farm or some kind of bird netting that you can get at a farm supply store. I think that would be the best way to do it on a small scale.
Well, my husband was also mentioning that we were thinking about getting some owls, not real owls, but fake kind of decoy owls to scare some birds off. But we've never really had this problem in the strawberry patch. We've had it in the blueberry patch more. But I think it's the amount of view pickers in and out of the field kind of kept them down a little bit. But this year I've seen more and more bird damage.
Well, in the past 2-3 years for deer, we've had to put up tall electric fence to keep them out, because when we plant the strawberries, they tend to go straight for that crown, so that it keeps the plant from growing. So we've had to find ways to get around the deer too. Electric fence has been that option.
All right. So we've also had another question come in. Reagan and Reed are wanting to know, what is it that you plant? Do you plant seeds or do you transplant plants? And I'm sure it's different for different things.
Yes, so we actually transplant plants. We have a grower up in North Alabama that provides the plants for us, because you can imagine those strawberry seeds are itty bitty, and you're not going to have a lot of success planting from a seed. But anybody can really propagate their own strawberry plants. You let them grow, and they put off what they call runners. And if you clip that runner, you can pot it and grow it as well. So that's how a lot of people make their own strawberry plants, transplants. Yeah, we grow most of our stuff. Some of it we grow from seed, like our vegetables and that kind of stuff. But with strawberries, it's definitely transplants.
All right. Just so you know, we also have Leanne Moore has said, I feel their pain out here in the lower Alabama countryside related to calls dropping out and that kind of thing. So yeah, we've got some friends out there who also deal with internet issues. We have another question. What is your favorite fruit or vegetable, especially if it's one that you grow?
My favorite's blueberries. I didn't like blueberries at all until we started growing them. They taste so much better when they're fresh. I mean, I like the strawberries, but I think I see them so much, and I'm just kind of tired of them. But I like blueberries. It's my favorite.
Mine's probably peaches, because we grew up with a peach orchard, and it's just something that signifies summer to me. You know, cobbler and all the good stuff. Ice cream you can make out of strawberries, which you can do with everything else. Peaches is definitely when you get that nice. I like mine juicy. Some people like theirs hard, but I like a nice big juicy peach that just goes everywhere.
The juicier the better. All right. We've also had where did it go? It's hard to keep up with all of these questions that are coming in, actually. So Danita Sylvester, her kids Mackenzie and Madison would like to know how big your farm is. So for that, I'd love for you guys to talk about backyard orchards, but also the family farm too.
And was that how big it is?
Yes, how big it is.
All right, it's 50 acres here. And then our family has about 10,000 acres of row crops. And they do cotton, corn, peanuts, soybeans. We also have cattle.
Forestry.
Yeah. Several ponds, irrigation ponds. Yeah, so my kids are getting to enjoy that right now. At least when they go fishing. So.
Yes, getting out and enjoying the great outdoors right now is a wonderful thing to be able to do. All right, we have from Lacey Richardson. How many strawberries do you plant each year at the farm?
Well, we've been doing 30,000 strawberry plants, but this year we scaled down. We were trying something different. Normally we have 2 plants per plastic row. And this year we just did 1 to try to let them grow a little bit bigger, not get crowded out, and help with some disease control. So this year I think we only did about 20,000 plants, which so far though, our theories kind of worked out. They're bigger, they're better, there's less disease, there's less insects. Yeah, and each plant should produce about 1 pound.
That's a lot of strawberries. Yeah. All right. Another question that has come in. Ruth wants to know how tall your plants grow. So I know that that's going to vary based on what kind of plant we're talking about. So maybe tell us a little bit about strawberries versus blueberries versus peaches and how they grow, if it's a bush or a tree or a vine or any of those things.
So strawberries are, a little bush, I guess you could say. They don't grow much bigger, taller than probably half a foot. They'll get wider than they do taller, and then they just kind of spread out. With blueberries, it's a shrub, it's a bush. Ours are 10 years old. We have some that, for whatever reason, some are over our heads, so maybe 6 feet tall, which need to be pruned back. If they get too tall, you kind of wasted your berries because you can't reach too high up there to get them. But some that are waist high, 4 to 6 feet tall for the blueberries. And the peach trees, you prune them back. Again, you don't want them too tall. You want to be able to reach up into the tree and grab it. You don't want to have a ladder out there. So keep it around that maybe 6.5 foot height.
And then watermelons.
Watermelons and pumpkins kind of, spread out on the ground or on the vine. Cucumbers are on a vine as well. You can trellis those or you can let them grow on the ground. So, and squash and zucchini, they get pretty big plants. So it just varies from plant to plant.
All right. So I think our last question that we're going to do for the day is from Katie Hayden, and they're wondering what the building is behind you. So tell us about where you are on the farm.
So when we first started, and it's located right outside here, we were just in a little pole barn. And we did that for about 5 years. And then we built this barn, which you can see now is just the store. So we have our produce, and then lined against the walls, we have jams and jellies and cookbooks and toys. And we have normally we have our fudge over here behind us on the counter. And over this way, we have our kitchen where we make our homemade ice cream and the fudge and fried pies. And we also do like hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff like that. There's restrooms right behind us. But most everything you can see, we pulled off the farm from old houses, tins. There's an old mantle. My husband did most of the work himself. But it's definitely made a lot more things possible. We can accommodate more people. Like I said, we have weddings and things here. Upstairs is like a half office, where I take field trips and we talk about how things grow and what they're about to go pick. We do a little slideshow. We play games just to get them learning about actually why they're here before they go outside. And then outside, we actually have like a tire swing, and we normally have bouncy houses up, and there's huge tires kids play on, and tractors, and all different kind of stuff for families and kids to come out here and just enjoy and have a whole day experience.
Yeah, you guys have a wonderful agritourism attraction out there. So, once we get back to regular life and everything, definitely go check out Backyard Orchards. I'm going to throw this one in here just because I think it's a good question and it came in a little late. But one truly last question for you is what do y'all use to water your plants? Is it like a sprinkler like what kids run through, or do you have a different watering system?
Yes, so we irrigate out of a pond that's right down the road. Unfortunately, when we got started, we thought, we'll dig a well and do our irrigation system out of that. Well, for some weird reason, our water depth here is really, really deep and would have cost a lot of money to dig a well. So we had to think about plan B, which was the pond. So we have a pump sound pond that pushes the water up here. And then our blueberries and our strawberries are all on drip tape. Actually, blueberries is more like a pipe, and they have emitters every so often. It's usually about every foot that releases water. So it's just not a continual thing. There's just not water going everywhere. So we have a lay flat hose, kind of like what firefighters use, that hooks to the drip tape that goes down the road. Watermelons and all that's done the same way. Our peach trees, our irrigation is not hooked up, but we have the capability of, again, hooking up that kind of a hard hose and connecting emitters, which can be like a sprinkler that the kids use, or they could just be little round circular devices that you plug into that hard hose that just release water, ever so slowly. So there's different ways, but what's the good thing about the drip tank is that it cuts down on the evaporation. It cuts down on any kind of, like, say, we'll use birds for example. If a bird was to poo on your vegetables, then that water is not going over the top of it and spreading any kind of disease or anything on top of that water. So it's all through the root system. So it's protecting the fruit that way as well.
Okay. So it's a very efficient way of doing it because the water gets exactly where it needs to go, and you're not spreading any bad things, which we all understand disease spread at this point, I think. And the importance of, it just being in one place instead of, water spreading it to other places. So thank you all so very much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. And another big thing that I want to mention while I still have you guys on here is that y'all are actually going to be featured on national TV. So if you're watching here now, you can also learn more about Allie and Cassie's operation by watching RFD. It's next Friday, right? April 17th at 8:30.
8:30 Central Time.
All right, perfect. And that TV show is called Farm Her. So it's all about women farmers across the country, and you guys are some of the best. So we thank you all so very much for being with us, and we'll see you later. All right, bye. And thank y'all very much for joining us. We hope that you learned a little something about growing some fruits and vegetables. And even if you don't really like veggies, we hope that you enjoyed hearing about how they grow. And hopefully you've got your appetite ready for some strawberries now, because they're definitely in season. You can go find some good ones at the grocery store or at local farms where you can practice social distancing at some of the U-Picks. So before y'all leave, make sure to check the comments for the other activities that we have that are based on fruits and vegetables. We've got a coloring page, we've got an ag mag, and then there's lots of other fun things in there too. There's some books from the American Farm Bureau Foundation for Agriculture that you can read to learn more about different careers that are based around fruits and vegetables. And just lots of great things. There's a science experiment that you can do to try to figure out how to prolong the life of the fruits and vegetables that you buy from the store, because you know, nothing's sadder than opening a carton of strawberries and some of them have gone bad because you've had them for too long. So we want to see you guys do that. Take photos or video of you and your family participating in some of those activities. Share them on Instagram and tag us as @AlphaFarmers, or share them on Facebook and tag @AlabamaFarmers. Thank you all so much. We'll be back next Friday, and it's going to be, I think a lot of people love this. We're going to have cattle farmers, Tabor and Grace Ellis, with us next Friday at 10 o'clock. So you'll get to learn all about some cows, and you'll probably hear some mooing in the background too. So thank you all very much. We'll see you again on next Friday. Bye.